Is there a motion we go back into session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Court resumes. Mr. Sullivan, please.
Right. Thank you. So the next topic is the Goshen Hills Phase 1 Drainage Improvements Project. And again, similar to the Buckner Soccer, we received bids on July 21st. The low responsible bidder was Flynn Brothers Contracting in the amount of $374,596.12. It was higher than the engineer's estimate. However, understanding the scope of the project, I think it's still a reasonable cost. What I mean there is that this project has the contractor going in between some basically 4 pairs of houses that are pretty close together. So estimating that cost is not easy, but it's going to be a lot of work, but it'll be good work in the end. So in this, again, we've worked this with this and the Buckner soccer project. The total of the two are real close to the $420,000 that's budgeted in the engineering department budget for stormwater projects to be reimbursed by the Stormwater Board, which they have approved also at their August 10th meeting. So I'm requesting the fiscal court award the project to Flynn Brothers in the amount of $374,596.12 and authorize us to issue notice to proceed.
Magistrate Likens?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the bid of Flynn Brothers in the amount of $374,596.12 for drainage improvements known as Goshen Hills Phase 1.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion on this? They should die.
Yeah, Jim, you piqued my interest when you said going between big houses. I'm assuming, not having seen the whole bid package that you sent out, is all this work being done on easements and county property?
Yes, it's all, we received 7 of the 8 consent and release forms about a month ago in fiscal court, or they were approved, excuse me, and we'll have one more, the final one, to approve later today. And then
They're granting you temporary easements or permanent easements?
temporary. And it's within an existing 10-foot permanent easement between the
Okay.
houses.
Okay. And are we replacing any shrubs, bushes, or paying any type of money?
Well, if you look at the bid tabulation that you've got.
It's awful
item
small
17
writing.
What's that?
That's awful small
It's-
writing.
Mine printed out that large too. It should have been 11 by 17. But item 17 is a restoration fee for those people who do want fences or bushes replaced after they're taken down. Some of them didn't want the fences and bushes put back, so we've worked that out with the private property owners.
They want their fences replaced?
Some, yes. So if the contractor has to take them down to install the pipe or build the storm sewer, then those need to go back up.
If those fences were put on permanent easements, they shouldn't be there.
Well, but the temporary we got is because we're going outside of the permanent. So we are
So
doing,
okay.
yes,
They're not on the permanent easement, they're on the edge, which
That is correct.
All right.
that is correct.
I've been around the block on this before, yeah. All right, thank you.
Any further discussion on this item? Okay, we've had a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, Ralph Matheson can take a deep sigh here. We finally can take your mask off now. Yeah. Great, thank you. All right. Payables. Do we have,
Motion to make, to pay the bills, please.
Second.
Second.
any discussion on anything on the bills here?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The one claim for $559,200, I realize what that's for, but could I get a little explanation as where we are in that project and, I guess where the money's going to? And is that a match, I guess?
Good question. Yeah, that money is for the acquisition of a property for the Commerce Parkway extension, which goes from 393 to Mattingly Road. It's to purchase a parcel that has a building on it, and that is 80% matched, so we get 80% of the money back through KIPTA SLO funding. And once we purchase that right away, we have a business relocation, which we'll have to come back for that once we get the funds ready for that. And it's not really expensive, but there is a business in there. They already have another place to go. And then we can do other small right-of-way. It's actually easements for the project. The money is in the budget for construction for next spring.
Okay.
So finally, I
they'll
think we're gonna get going.
Start shoveling next spring, hopefully.
All goes well with the acquisitions, yes, and I anticipate they will. All the property owners are eager to go ahead and support this project, so
Okay.
we anticipate that they'll be doing it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, surplus property. Kevin Nuss. Thought we just had our auction Saturday, and we've got more things on the agenda here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have before you 6 items that actually were already sold at the auction on Saturday. However, some of these items, it was realized as late as Friday morning, had not been surplused in court, so I apologize for the kind of putting the cart before the horse. But I sent an email out to all the magistrates on Friday, making you aware that these items were going to be on the auction Saturday, but surplused in court today, so I'd ask that you surplus these items, and
Hope it passes.
Okay.
So moved.
I do too.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Environmental recycling, Becky Zachlin.
Thank you, Judge and Magistrates. Good afternoon. I'm coming before you today to ask you to give the judge permission to sign this grant application for the 2021 litter abatement grant that we received on the calendar year. It's approximately $71,000 to $72,000 per year.
I'll make the motion that we request that the county judge, Vogel, be allowed to apply for and accept the grant if awarded to Oldham County.
Any discussion on that? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Road Committee, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you. You should have in your packet a memo or a letter from me regarding the requested closure of Tingle Lane. Just for a little background, Tingle Lane in 2007 went through the same process to be closed from a point 950 feet west of 524 to its terminus. And now, with some of the properties adjacent to the road being consolidated, the owners are coming back and wanting to request the last 950, or the first 950 feet of that roadway be closed. All I'm requesting now is, in accordance with KRS 178.040, that we establish a committee of the county engineer and 2 other uninvolved or unaffected parties, individuals, to form a committee to view the road and report back to the fiscal court if there's any issues with the closure. The road committee approved this process, or approved us go forward with this process at the last road committee meeting, which was August 4th, and they recommended that we contact a John Westbrook of Easton Westbrook Construction, and also either Bob or Ryan Steele, who live nearby. I've spoken to Ryan Steele. He is available and eager to help out with this process, and I'm just waiting for a return call from John Westbrook. So again, I just move that the fiscal court allow us to establish this committee to start the process to close Tingle Lane using John Westbrook and Ryan Steele.
Judge,
Make a
I will
motion first.
abstain from discussion or voting on this.
Thank you. Measure Tice.
Am I correct? Am I correct from having done this before where we've closed a lane that it ceased, as far as on the county road, it ceases to be a road any longer and it's a sword into the property owners?
Yes, good question. So this basically relieves us of county maintenance of that road. It still retains its, on a plat map, it'll show as reserved for public right-of-way, but it's no longer an accepted county road.
It is still accepted as public right-of-way?
Well, it's shown as reserved for public right-of-way, but it's not a county-maintained road any longer.
Okay. I just didn't
Mr.
realize.
Greenwell.
More steps to do that.
Thank you, Judge. First of all, have we got a motion on this, Judge?
No.
Not yet.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we establish this committee to see about the road closure.
Excuse me, I got the card ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Now, go ahead.
Jim, am I thinking right, there's a cemetery on this road also?
Yes, and that's part of the reason why it wasn't closed. I don't know the entire history being in 2007, but that was, when I was reading some of the background, it was mentioned in the previous evaluation.
Well, it still can't be closed. I mean, we can close it and get it off the county rolls, but there always has to be access to that cemetery. Always.
And, well, so the committee that you set up will look into that and determine if that's
Okay.
possible. But this is the process to respond to the request to close the road that we need to go by.
Okay.
Magistrate Hawkins.
Could this subcommittee potentially in the future, if it remains intact, be one that would look at adopting roads into the county as well?
No, that'd be a separate effort. This is going to be, these two gentlemen and myself will be just for this one task.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, hearing no one, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Let's see here now. Nothing for me to sign on that, was there? Oh, I guess so. All right, next item here is Mr. Silliman again, and it's kind of Jim Silliman show today here, but go ahead with, this says Goshen Hills Drainage Improvements Phase 1 Consent and Release Form.
Yes, thank you. Again, I was going for a record today. I don't know if I said it. You'll have to let me know. We discussed earlier, Mr. Magistrate Dye, you asked about the easements. And again, while the permanent structures of the Goshen Hills Phase 1 project remain in the 10-foot permanent easement that's already in existence, to do the work, we need temporary easement and these consent and release forms from the property owners to go outside that permanent easement just to do the work. At a previous fiscal court meeting, you approved the judge to sign 7 of those 8. There was one property owner that we had to just finalize some questions he had. So he added a note about not disturbing a certain fence post and some other items. And so we're here today to get that 8th consent and release form signed so we can proceed with the project.
Judge, I'll make a motion that you have the approval to sign the consent and release form for
I'll second.
1010 Cliffwood Drive.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Jim, okay, 2 questions. It's not in the city of Goshen, right?
That's correct. Goshen Hills is not in the city of
Second.
Goshen.
Question is, I read on here that not to destroy a tree. If that tree dies, are we responsible for it then?
That's what it says.
I think we'd have to look into that it's actually, I don't think it's a threat of being touched anyway, but the property owner was very concerned about making sure it wasn't, it's on the other side of a driveway. So I don't think there's really any issue, but he asked us to add that in.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now, under personnel actions and board appointments, I have some personnel actions here. First one would be a new hire, electrical inspector, John Booth at $25 an hour, effective September 7th. Mr. Booth is coming from Kemper Construction, where he was a safety director. He's in the process of getting level 1 certification for master electrician. provides continuing education instruction for electrical contractors, master electricians, and so they can maintain their license. So he's a very capable and experienced person. Second?
Second.
Yes, sir. Somebody have a question, or did you say second? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item is Christopher Clark. This is a code enforcement officer in planning and development, $16.90 an hour, effective 8/24/20. We feel very fortunate to be able to have Mr. Clark's service. He was Director of Security at Papa John's International. He's a retired state trooper, worked at Post 5 and worked for the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission. And he's a graduate of U of L with a Bachelor Administration in Justice, or with a bachelor's degree in Justice Administration. So very happy to have him. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 In the road department, we have a new hire, Patrick Martin, Equipment Operator 1, at $13.50 an hour, beginning on August 24th. He's coming to us from a golf course where he was a maintenance person and groundskeeper. He also has a degree in biology from University of Louisville, and he's ready to obtain his CDL. And he likes working outside, and I'm very happy to have him. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. And we have one termination here, Wesley Williams, effective August 14th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now, I want to just take a moment here at the before we have our public comment. We lost one of our employees this last week, Daryl Townsend, has been with us. He was our code enforcement officer. Daryl passed away a few days ago from cancer. We certainly extend our deepest sympathy to Daryl's family. He did an excellent job for us. Code enforcement is not an easy position because essentially almost everybody you come in contact with, you're attempting to get them to conform with the rules that have been established by the Fiscal Court and the Planning Commission. And, people being people, not everybody has an agreement on what the best way to do things is. But we've set policies and procedures for our county, and Daryl's job was to assist in those cases where people had a hard time complying, to get them to comply without actually bringing down unnecessary pressure on them through the Code Enforcement Board. So I thank Daryl for his service and wish his family well under these circumstances. And now I'd like to ask for a minute of silence in memory of Daryl Townsend. Thank you. I do have one board appointment before we go to our comments here, and that is I'd like to ask for the reappointment of Joan Bryant to the Ambulance Taxing District for a term that would expire in September of 2022. Joan has been a member of our board, has done an excellent job in helping guide our ambulance taxing district and the relationship with Baptist Healthcare, and is certainly, in my estimation, worthy of reappointment. Is there a motion to reappoint Joan?
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion on the matter? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Now we're at the second public comment. Was there anybody that came in during the course of the meeting that would like to say anything? And Ralph Matheson, happy to have you here.
Ralph Matheson, I'm president of Goshen Hills HOA. I have been since 1995. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, magistrates, for approving this water situation. I want to thank Jim and Derek for a great job that they've done and how much work they're doing. The Water Board. I've attended every meeting with the Water Board since it was founded, thanks to the judge, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 meetings. Nobody has any idea how important this is. Just want to say thanks.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, we appreciate your support and persistence and assistance in the community. We know this is important there, and the fiscal court is happy to be at this point today. We have, this has been one of those things where we've, striven to reach this point, and we've finally gotten there. So I'm really happy, and I know everybody over there will be too. So thank you for the leadership you provided in the Goshen Hills Homeowners Association. Since 1995, that is, by my recollection, that's 25 years. So that's a long time. And we got an HOA president up here in another part of the county. I don't know if he's been 25 years or not, but 25 years anywhere. 20, all right. You're going to take you a while to catch up to Ralph here yet, but so thank you for your service and your interest in the community. And we're happy this project is underway. All right, let me see, Magistrate.
Census.
Pardon?
You said you were going to let me give a report on census?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay. Jerry, maybe you come. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Judge. Good afternoon, Madam Clerk, Magistrates, Mr. Carter. Real quick comment on something you mentioned earlier in the meeting today, Judge, about how the fire services and emergency services in this county get along and how they do such a great job. I would just like to dovetail a little bit that as my role as the Director of Emergency Management. There are 119 other people in my position in this state. I go to conferences and things and I hear horror stories. And I'm proud to brag the fact that I affectionately have said that my job was to make sure all the cats play well in the sandbox. I do that facetiously because I do not have that problem here. When I go to the scene, I'm usually there just to say, what do you need me to do? Because they're already doing it. And I was wanting to say that before the 2 chiefs left, but they've heard me say it before. But that was just a side thing. I come here today not as the Director of Emergency Management, but as a draftee of my son, Staff Sergeant Nart from the Marine Corps Reserve, who's also on a member of the Woody Williams Medal of Honor Foundation. And this weekend at the Veterans Memorial Park of Kentucky, which is located on the south Oldham High and Middle School campus, we will be placing a Gold Star Families Memorial Monument there that the foundation that my son works for sponsors across the country. Woody Williams is one of only 2 remaining Medal of Honor recipients from World War II. He's the only one from the South Pacific. For his actions at Iwo Jima. His goal, he's 96 years old. You wouldn't tell it by looking at him. But he's 96 years old, and his goal with his foundation is to place one of these Gold Star family monuments in all 50 states. They're about 5 or 6 shy right at the moment. This is actually going to be the second one in Kentucky. There is one at the National Cemetery in Radcliffe already, but we are proud to put one in our park in Oldham County. So that will be at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. We just like for I think all of you may have already received an invitation. We'll be glad to have you. The Adjutant General for Kentucky will be there. The Commissioner of Veterans Affairs for Kentucky will be there. Judge, I think you're going to say a few words for there. We're praying for good weather, but we are going to have a tent there. Alex would have been here today, but he's down there overseeing the installation of the monument. They're actually putting it in there right now. So it's a monument again to the Gold Star families. There are emblems on the back in the granite of Main Street, LaGrange, Pee Wee Valley. There's a Gold Star family from this county with members of the family member on that monument, as well as some other pictures that are required by the foundation. And it is placed, just to give you a little tidbit, it's placed and it has a silhouette cut out of the middle of it of a service member. We can't say that it was Army or Coast Guard because it's a generic one. But of this service member saluting, and if you look straight through it, they're pointed toward the flag. So it's, we're very proud for it to be there, and I just wanted to make sure that you all know about it, and you're more than welcome, and we're proud to have it there.
Tell us real quickly what a Gold Star family is.
Thank you. A Gold Star family, well, let me go back to World War I. Families would put a flag in the window that had a blue border with a red star in the middle of it. No, blue star.
Blue.
Red border, blue star, which meant they had a member of their family overseas in battle, in service to the country. And if you looked up the next day and you saw that the blue star had been replaced by a gold star, it meant that that individual had perished in battle. And so Gold Star families are the family members remaining or who have had a relative died in service to their country.
Originally, it was going to Gold Star mothers. Wasn't that the first part of
Yes.
the program?
Back even in World War II, it's still called a Blue Star or Gold Star mothers. Recent times, they evolved to being Gold Star family members. Yes, thank you, sir. I can answer any questions if anybody has it, but we'll be more than glad to see you.
Thank you. That's 11 o'clock Saturday morning at South Oldham High School.
Yes, sir.
Magistrate Hawkins.
I didn't hear you say the time, so I was going
Okay.
to ask you if it was indeed 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's at 11 o'clock.
Right.
Judge?
Yes, sir.
Jerry, thank you for bringing the information to us, and I just want to thank you for sending out the text whenever there's a vehicle stuck on the railroad tracks.
Well, you got the other Smart 911 today, if you're a subscriber, about how they're having the one lane shut down at the
Yes.
16th for 12 hours, 9 to 9. And whenever they shut one lane down on the interstate, we just cringe that we think we're going to have to send you another message about the railroad
So
traffic.
far, so good.
So far, so good, sir. Knock on some wood here. Anything else? Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Perhaps when they're shutting down a lane on the interstate, we need to make sure that we, try to stop truck traffic from going through there. I don't know exactly how to do it. Maybe we can get one of our constables to stand there. Yeah.
Yes.
I've been told by the highway department that it's the most signed intersection in the state of Kentucky.
Oh, really?
There are 14 signs around there, and he says that is the most signed intersection in the state. And 2 of them have big yellow flashing lights. So we try. We've cut it down to 50%, Judge, with that.
Yes.
But we still.
Signs everywhere, signs, so. All right, let's, thank you very much. And now we'll have Magistrate Harrison would like to discuss the census slightly.
Thank you, Judge. This is in 2 parts. One involves the questionnaires sent out by the Census Bureau for the 2020 census. Everybody should have received them by now. Not everybody has filled them out and completed them. So this is a reminder to please do that. It's very, very important for our economy. The second one, I've received numerous calls from people, not just in my district, but in general, who have had phone messages left from them, for them, purportedly by the Census Bureau, instructing them to call a certain number and provide information to the person who answers the phone. That is a scam. The Census Bureau does not call you. The only way you can talk with the Census Bureau is you call them. And that would be after they have made a home visit and you were not home. They would leave information there with a code number. Every resident's address has a unique code number. And they will leave a phone number for you to call to reach the Census Bureau. They will talk to you after you provide them with the correct code number. And then you can go ahead and answer questions but anybody calling you, it's not the Census Bureau. They do not do that. So please let that register and tell your friends the same thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're about ready to end our meeting here. Why don't we see if any magistrates have any closing comments? Magistrate Logston.
Judge, I don't have any questions, but you might, in your comments, I've been getting a lot of calls from people with high-speed internet. because the school's starting back and not been able to get their kids, they're not going to go to school. So could you talk to just a brief minute about the survey you're going to put out, maybe, so that we can
Right.
talk about the high-speed internet?
Okay.
Thank you.
I will when my turn comes up here. I will. Okay. Magistrate Dye.
Nothing, Judge.
Magistrate Hawkins?
Stay safe this school year. The public schools are doing it online, but some of the private schools are still going. So please continue to still look out for kids because school will be in session.
Thank you. Magistrate Hounds?
Yes, sir. I got a couple things. First thing is that the Crusade for Children happened 2 weeks ago. It was moved from the June date. Kudos to the South Oldham Fire Department because they were in the top 10 of fire departments that collected all across the operation. I believe that the amount of money that will be returned to Oldham County in the form of grants is somewhere in the neighborhood of $85,000, which is about 50% of what it normally is. But still a nice job by the fire departments and the citizens of Oldham County to contribute to the crusade. I was going to make an Oldham County fiber comment, but Judge, I'll let you talk in detail. But just one thing I will say, there is a process, it is moving, and I think that hopefully soon the magistrates will get to see exactly what's going on. The other piece is that I know I've gotten phone calls, and it's an AT&T group that says they can provide me with high-speed internet. I tell them where I live. Of course, they should know that, but they don't. And then they tell me, oh, no, we can't provide high-speed internet to you. But then I have had a phone call from, 2 phone calls now from Spectrum wanting to upgrade my service. So I think what we have done is we have probably raised the bar with some of these internet providers, and they're going to try to raise the bar. So we may have some good competition going forward that maybe we can help the citizens get the high-speed internet that they need and want so their kids can do NTI and so the parents can have a little bit of relief in that their kids are able to get an education. Thank you.
Magistrate Greenwell?
Thank you, Judge. I just want to reinforce what you said and what Mr. Nard said about our fire chiefs that were here today. We had 2 fine fire chiefs from 2 very good departments, but they are just 2 of many in the county, and they work well together, and I thank them for that.
Magistrate Harrison?
Thank you, Judge. This is a segue off of what Jerry Nart was talking about earlier. As far as military days, the 29th of this month is the birth date of the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve. And I'm surprised he didn't bring that up. I guess he was counting on me. The only other military observance coming up is the entire month of September is National Suicide Prevention Month. You may not think that's a military observance, but it is because there's a high number of military personnel committing suicide than in the general population. The folks in Washington keep track of that because they know who's a veteran, who's not. The group that's not being counted are the spouses of military people. And the suicide rate there reportedly is abnormally high. And nobody's really addressing it. I've got numerous friends who have dealt with that situation, and somebody needs to be paying attention to it, but so far they're not. Thank you.
Thank you. Magistrate Tice?
Nothing today. Thank you, Judge.
Magistrate Likens?
Nothing today, thank you.
All right. Thank you. I'll just speak briefly to the question that Magistrate Logston asked me to address, and that is the progress that we're making on bringing open access broadband service to Oldham County. We have hired a consultant, Lit Communities is the name of the consultant. They are in the process of putting together a survey that we would like every home occupant or person who occupies a home or a business in Oldham County to complete. We're going to push it out hard as we can to make it as well-known as possible. The survey is designed to help us determine we already know where everybody lives. We have that mapped out on the system that they have, and we've given them, and we're going to find out everybody who has some type of service coming into their home where it's coming from, what they're paying for. We'll also be able to record their up and down speeds and take other comments. And as we gather this information, Lit Communities is going to lay out a plan with our Kentucky Broadband, Kentucky Wired network that we have here going through the county. It's really not a network yet. It's fiber optic cable that runs from Trimble County to Jefferson County. They will be able to help us develop an outreach from that cable service based on the response we get and the interest we get from different communities in the county. We've divided the county up into a number of neighborhoods. We'll be asking you to respond in relation to your neighborhood. And then you'll get information on several levels of service that you may be interested in participating in. Just say low, medium, and high for lack of a better term. Each one will be described. Now, what our goal here is to give everyone an opportunity to have what's called an open access network. And that is that you may, on this open access network, continue to subscribe with other providers such as Spectrum or AT&T or perhaps Comcast or somebody that's in Missouri with a service. You'll be able to access any internet service provider in the country. And we'll also have home options for teaching, home options for telecare, and other smart home services. The service, when it's built out, will be in the ground, on pole attachments, and on wireless throughout the county. So all of these elements have to come together in a business plan that's being put together by Lit Communities. We hope to get grants for this money. We hope to find outside investors for the money. Expect the fiscal court will participate at some level. But overall, this could be a $30 to $40 million project. So it's going to be a big deal. We're going to try to be the best we can possibly be. It's going to take, we won't be able to flip a switch and make it happen simultaneously across the county. But as we build out certain networks, the revenue from those networks will help us build out to the more sparse locations or population-wise. We'll also be able to use the wireless communication to get out to people who are in, the more remote parts of the county or don't have service. We've had a lot of complaints, let's say, I'll take back the word complaint, concern about our service in the county. Many people have good service, some people have awful service. We want to bridge that gap and make sure that everybody has great service, the best that they're able to have and the most they're willing to pay for. So we'll have very high speed here. We will be certainly a gigabyte community and greater. I'm not getting too far out on the limb talking about technicalities that I'm not an expert in, but we're going to put together something here that is exciting and great, and I think will be a satisfactory and hopefully beneficial service to everyone in the community. So the survey will be coming out soon. I say soon because I don't want to put the exact number of days on it, but I'd say in less than 30 days for sure. And we'll be promoting it, publicizing it everywhere, and we ask everyone to take it and tell everyone else you know to get on this service. And please take the service from your home, not from your business office in some other county, or we need to know where you are in Oldham County, and to be able to put you on the grid system, track you, and be able to offer you improved situation. So that's where we are, and it's coming, and it's going to get here. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.